President Trump's big mistake and how he can fix it. It's Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. Smack the bell to get notification of my rants when you click the word all. President Trump did a sit-down interview with Chris Wallace for Fox News Sunday. Now, they did it outside, sweltering heat, like, 99 degrees there in Washington, D.C. Chris, by his own admission to Brett Baer, wanted to do it inside where it was air conditioned. The president's like, let's do it outside. And again, that is great subliminal politics by President Trump. Now, let me explain to you how that works with the president, this incredible political instinct that he has. First, doing it outside, it reminded me of when President Reagan met with Gorbachev. And remember, they did it, in an Arctic temperature where Boris Yeltsin, Mikhail Gorbachev shows up. He's got his big, heavy Russian winter coat on and his Russian hat. And out comes President Reagan, He's got his suit jacket off. He's in shirt sleeves. He's got those rolled up a couple. And he slaps a big handshake onto Gorbachev. And the international media went nuts like, wow, Reagan, the cowboy, comes outside, when it's like, 10 degrees out and he's in shirt sleeves and Gorbachev, is wrapped in a blanket. It was great optics. Reagan understood optics. President Trump has an instinct for this as well. By sitting outside, he knew, listen, they talk about it was a combative interview with Chris Wallace. You don't think Trump knew that going in? In fact, Trump was the initiator of some of the combat on purpose, because Trump knows the regular lying, corporate, corrupt mainstream media will not interview him. George Snuffleupagus is not going to have President Trump on. He's not. Jake the Tapper and Anderson Cooper, they're not going to interview President Trump. So what the president has to do, and again, this is great politics on it's his killer instinct. He knows this. He understands this. He purposely says things that he knows are going to get a rise out of everybody. That means the lying, corporate, corrupt legacy media is going to cover it. Every media outlet showed clips of the interview with President Trump and Chris Wallace. Every media outlet covered it. And we don't even care that the foes like, Joe Schmuck Scarborough, Mr. Magoo with his smart glasses and his pole dancing, $2 a tip gentleman's club dancing wife, Mika. We don't even care what they have to say about it. It gets it out there. A lot of people will immediately go to YouTube and social media to see where they can see the whole thing, because they obviously didn't watch it at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon on Faux Pas News, formerly known as Fox News. So it lets the president get his message out by guaranteeing the other media outlets will cover it. Now, does something else. People sit there, they see the president sitting outside. He's confident. He's leaning in to Chris to give his answers. He's not leaning back. Leaning back is a sign of retreat, cowardice. He's leaning in to give his answers. And even Chris Wallace went on with Brett Baer to explain, the president was combative, but I have to say, when it was over, we went into the Oval Office where it was about 30 degrees cooler. And he said he was incredibly gracious. He was a gentleman, and he said he understands the rough and tumble is part of the political game. And I have to admit, Joe Biden has not come out of his basement and done an interview like this. Bum, ba-dum, bum. More great instinct from President Trump. more incredible. This is how you put it out there. You want to sell yourself to the American people that you really are the guy that is competent. You're on top of it. You are physically and mentally up to this. Sit outside in the 100-degree heat. Take the hard questions. Lean in. Give the forceful answers. And like Chris Wallace said, you didn't have to like all of the president's answers. You didn't have to agree with them. But you've got to give him a thumbs up and respect. You've got to give him the props that he sat there and took it. Joe Biden hasn't. And the president was relentless against Biden. You know, he can't put two sentences together. When Chris Wallace asked him if he thought Joe Biden was senile, he says, well, I don't want to say that. But he said he's definitely mentally not up to this. And he's not. And more media outlets are picking up on that. And when Joe Biden does come out, it's very small, it's very carefully crafted and scripted. Joe Biden does not have the stamina or the mental wherewithal to sit there for an hour and just take questions. And he certainly can't do it outside. And this was a win-win for the president. Now, that said, Chris Wallace did say that the one takeaway that he really has is the president still doesn't have a coherent message on the coronavirus. He wants to talk about, well, the reason we're seeing spikes is we're doing more testing, but we're also seeing more positive, and the president is kind of, he gets combative about that and the rates, and, he challenged me on that, and I had my numbers, and he had aides coming in with different numbers, and the president has made one I can't say fatal, one serious mistake in all this. He never should have let Anthony Fauci become the face and the voice of what to do regarding coronavirus. And that was because President Trump trusted the enemy from within, the vice president, Mike Pence. Mike Pence picked Fauci. These guys are on big pharma boards together. They've traveled the world and done all kinds of speaking about epidemics and pandemics, and they're all part of this fleecing that's happening of the American psyche right now. And I want to get into all of that because I've covered it ad nauseum. So the president has got to come out now, and he's got to come out hard and expose Fauci for the fraud that he is. And we'll start today. I'm going to do a series of these throughout the week. I'm not doing my regular radio broadcast, so to my radio audience that's here, it's repeats all week. No, I'm not on vacation, but I have a lot of other things that I'm doing, in particular with regard to my ministry. We've swung the doors wide open on that. We had our first Southern Gospel concert since all of this nonsense happened. We had one Saturday night. We had a group in. This group has been traveling for over 60 years. Different members, they've gotten younger, but this group has been nonstop 60 years. They got taken off the road, weren't able to travel and sing and do what they do for the last 18 weeks. Our church was their first event after 60 years of continuous ministry. 18 weeks off the road, we were their first concert back, and these guys, they were, they're one of the big guns in the world of Southern gospel music. We did an event today. I did it with senior adults.
No, you're the most vulnerable of our population, and they can't come out of the house, and you had all the old people together.
I did. It was great. We played Let's Make a Deal like Monty Hall. I had great prize we gave away. We spent a whole lot of money to pull this off. Again, had a different singer in for them and a full program. And my senior adult ministry is like a teenage youth camp. I'm not kidding you. These people go just wild. It's hilarious. It's fun. And a whole lot of them showed up. I am putting events together this month where we are pushing back on this new normal. We are going back to sane normal because the new normal is abnormal. This Friday, I've got an event for kids. I've got rides and activities and stuff coming, and we are going to throw the doors open wide, and we are just going to let kids be kids. So that's the kind of stuff I'm working on for my ministry this week. So I have put the radio show on autopilot. They're in a week of encore broadcasts, but I do want to come on here and do this. Now, that said, because I'm going to continue on this theme, what the president needs to do in taking out Fauci, the mask. the mask. The mask is a symbol of fear. And I've done several videos on the mask, and I don't want to recover all that ground, what it filters out, what it doesn't. But again, it's got the consistency of a Mr. Coffee filter. So what is it really filtering out? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But I'm not going to get into all of that now. I've got other videos on that subject. Look them up in the video archives here for my channel. But I want you to consider this. Those of you that are still, we have to wear it and it's safe and I don't know why. The newest argument right now.
You people that are pro-life, why are you anti-mask? And you're making it sound like we're losing our rights. And in certain stores you go in, you got to wear a shirt and shoes to get service. What's wrong with the mask? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
Okay, let's just put the idiocy aside for a moment. Like, I walked into a restaurant this week and waited to be seated. Oh, you have to have a mask on. But once you get to your booth, you can take your mask off. And I said to the hostess, so let me get this straight. The coronavirus is hovering here over the host station, but it's not at my table. And she just kind of looked at me like, if you remember the old Carol Burnett show, there was a sketch they used to do between Carol and Tim Conway where he played this guy, Mr. Tudball, and she was his secretary, Mrs. O'Higgins. This is kind of this host at this restaurant I was at. She's kind of like,
Why you can't talk about like that?
And I told you, I've actually asked waitresses that, you get seated in a booth and you got these plastic shower curtains hanging up. I said, so the coronavirus is so smart. It's killing millions of people. But it's so stupid, it hits a plastic shower curtain and dies. It doesn't go around it. The coronavirus, it's such a microscopic microbe, you can't see it with the naked eye, that 100,000 of these microbes can fit on the head of a pin. But something with the consistency of a Mr. Coffee filter stops it. A Mr. Coffee filter doesn't stop coffee grounds. I have found coffee grounds in my coffee. And I can see grounds with the naked eye. I can't see the coronavirus without a super, super duper microscope. But you people that are still convinced masks are saving lives, masks are saving lives, okay. The mask you put over your mouth, what do you know about it? Now, don't give me the propaganda about quote-unquote masks. The one you have. The one that you've carried in your pocket. And then you pull it out. You keep it in the dashboard. You keep it in the glove box. Keep it in the console. It's you've touched it. It's been contaminated. You've laid it on contaminated surfaces. Even the ones that you buy right out of the pack. Do you know anything about how they've been made? What type of safety protocols and what type of hygiene was practiced in the environment where it was created? And you're going to put that over your face, over your mouth, over your nose, and breathe in. Well, I'm about to go out in public, so I guess I better set the example. I better mask up. What do you say? Yes, the only way to mask up, especially when you're going to have a corona. Where'd I put that? There it is. Oh, yeah. Now that's how you wear a mask.